It's been like 5 days since the last Necromunda model reveal, so of course there's another one for us to take a look at, and this one is causing me all sorts of issues. I'm having all sorts of cognitive dissonance over this one, because I don't know whether I like it. I think I like it, but I'm not sure that I like it. I might like it a bit, maybe a lot, but also I might not. This is the Sanctioner Pattern Automaton, also referred to as the Lawtomata, which is quite the pun, or Robocops if you want to go there. And I think it's cool. I think it's kind of cool. But there's also bits that look really weird that I'm just not sure about. And overall, if I squint and kind of defocus my eyes a little bit, it looks really good. But then if I look at it a bit too long, it looks a little bit too derpy. And I don't know. I'm struggling with this one. I'm struggling with it. Because there's bits that I think are absolutely fantastic. So, if we look at the overall shape of the body, there's a little bit of like RT era Dreadnought there that I don't know why it just reminds me of that a bit. It also looks kind of beefy and chunky around the shoulders. The fact that it's got the kind of hunched forward feel with the head being actually very low down on the torso. I quite like that. I don't like the design of the head though, so it kind of all draws your focus down to where the head is, but then when I actually see the head, I'm not particularly enamoured with it. It just looks a bit kind of lackluster, I guess. Also, I think I like the bolter barrels on either side of the head, because that reminds me of Centurions, and I love me some Centurions. Well, I mean, I don't, they're terrible, but I like bits of them, and that is one of the things I like about them. And this has got that. It also kind of puts me in mind of the newer Sisters of Battle, the Nundams, I forget the actual name of those. Like, it kind of puts me in mind of that a little bit as well. I don't think they've even got those in the chest. They might be on the shoulders. Either way, it feels like there's multiple bits of kind of inspiration going into these, and some of the bits are really fun. The big old power fist there with the three fingers and the thumb, that looks great. The fact they've got like massive souped up versions of what the Enforcers have got, that's fantastic as well. Especially that big like concussion hammer, that's great. The way that it's kind of got a little bit of dangly armour hanging down the front, so you've got chains and then you've just got this single plate with the symbol on the front of it. That's weird. I'm not sure about that. I don't know why you wouldn't just have that welded in place. It just seems like a weird decision to just hang it there instead of it being more permanent. The legs feel kind of super basic, and I don't understand the shape of the feet at all. Like, I just don't get it. They look really, really odd. It looks like... Okay, this is going to be quite the sentence, right? Quite the statement. Sometimes I will finish kit bashing something, and I'll be like, you know what? I need something to cover that bit. And what I do is I find a bit that does the job to cover the bit that needs covering. But I look at it and I know that it's not perfect. I know that actually I should like make something from scratch, or I should do a bit of green stuff work, or I should try and cut it down, or I should get the plasticard out and do something that's a bit more appropriate. But it's been a long day. I've been kit bashing for hours. I'm starting to run low on energy and inspiration. I'm feeling like I should probably cut it out and I should just go to bed. But instead, I want to finish the model. I want to get it done. I want to get it completed. So I find a bit out of the many bits boxes lying around in this hellhole of an office, and I go, that'll do. That'll do. That's fine. That'll do. And then I put it on, and then it bugs me for ages until I eventually swap it out or just learn to live with it, because it wasn't right for that bit. It wasn't what I actually should have put on there, but I did it anyway because I wanted it to be over and done with. That's what those feet look like to me. That's what those look like. They look like a piece or a bit that's come off some other sprue, and they've been put there because they kind of look a bit sort of like feet, kind of, sort of like hoof feet things. That'll do. That's fine. And I think it's maybe a little bit of a disservice to the person who designed these things, but they just look weird. They just look like a random part. They don't look like they've been engineered so much as just kind of, we've got some bits, we'll put those on there. Grand. And I don't know that that's what I want. I don't think I want it when I do it, and I don't think I want it from a model I'm buying new either. Which is a real shame, because actually, I like the armour on either side. I would prefer the legs to be a bit more armoured, to be honest. The legs as a whole look kind of dull compared to the rest of it. They don't look like visually all that appealing or interesting, especially when you look how heavily armoured, like that really wide kind of the shoulders and the top of the torso, all of that looks super well armoured, and then the legs just kind of look a bit plain. Now, I think these also have the disadvantage of being comparable to the Ambot. So size-wise, they are, I think, bigger than the Ambot. I think they are a good few heads taller than the Ambot, but the Ambot is such a good kit. I genuinely think the Ambot is a perfect kit. So much so that I've got like, well, I mean, if I look behind me, there's like 8 on the shelves behind me, and then there's 2 more in the box still. There's 2 in the D&D cabinet in the dining room where we play D&D, because one of them is my Warforged, and the other one is my Warforged when he's enlarged. Like, I've built a lot of Ambots. I think the Ambot is absolutely fantastic. This, I cannot help but compare it to the Ambot, because it's another Necromunda robot. It's kind of got like bits of it kind of similar aesthetic, sort of. It's obviously a bit more developed, it's a bit more rounded in places, but I can kind of see a shared pedigree there, and it's kind of going up against that in my estimations, which is not necessarily a good place to be because of how good the Ambot is to begin with. Now, there's a good selection of weapons on the Robocops. It does look decent, it does look good. I do like the various weapons. They are like enlarged versions of what the Enforcers have got, so that's kind of nice. And you can kind of see from this side angle the fact that the feet actually look more like sensible from the back. It looks like there's grip and tread at the back of it, but it's just that weird kind of folded over thing at the front that I'm not a fan of. The heads are very tiny. They are super tiny. They seem like a bit spindly the way they're attached, which I think is why I'm not feeling the heads specifically. They just look like they could be snapped off, which obviously isn't the case, but there's definitely a kind of weaker join there than I like. Can see as well from that side view that we've got that kind of power core in the back of it, which I quite like the look of. It looks a lot more kind of angular at the back as well, which I quite like. I like the idea that it's kind of sloped and well formed at the front for the armour, but then it gets more utilitarian the further back you go, because it doesn't need to be like as curved as you go around. I don't know. I think it's fair to say that there's stuff about them I really like, but there's also stuff about them I don't really like, and I can't work out which of those two is stronger. This is also one of those situations where I both like and dislike them enough that I don't feel neutral about them. There isn't like a total lack of emotional response, but I also can't work out what that response is. So that's an incredibly long-winded way of basically saying, dunno, not got a clue. Don't really know for these. Question is, what do you think? Do you like them? Not like them? Anything in there that's really standing out as being fantastic or rubbish? Let me know in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things. Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click if you don't want to. And as always, there's an affiliate link in the description for Element Games, which you can use to support the channel if you'd like. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.